Hello you, welcome to Geekism and welcome to a very special video. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll have seen that a couple of weeks ago I was invited down to SEGA Europe HQ down in London where all the shops are, and I got early access to have a little go at this game here, 2 Point Hospital. So I managed to sit down through the game for about an hour. I'm allowed to show 20 minutes of the footage today, so that's what you're going to be looking at. This is so the footage is actually pre-recorded at the event. I'm recording my voiceover at a later date afterwards, so I'm sort of watching this with you really and figuring out what the hell's going on. So if you don't know already, then 2 Point Hospital is created by 2 Point Development Studio, 2 Point Studios, which in turn is a group of more mature devs. I was going to say older, but I won't. Who've been in the industry for a long time now. British devs who've all come from some of the classic British development studios that unfortunately aren't any longer with us. So things like Bullfrog, Lionhead, and companies like that. Bullfrog, obviously, the guys who made Theme Hospital. So this is pretty much, to all intents and purposes, other than in name, this is Theme Hospital 2, basically, and it's something I'm so happy about. I had so much fun playing this, and hopefully you guys will too. There is a release date, and for the life of me I can't remember what it is, but I'm allowed to tell you now, and I'm so I'll put a thing in the description when it comes out, but it's the end of August. I can't remember if it's the 30th or the 31st, but I know it's the end of August. So we haven't got long to wait, about 5 or 6 weeks, and I'm sure you're going to see lots of content come out from it now. Whether or not I'm able to do any more, I'm not too sure, but there's definitely going to be some stuff on some of the channels. I know some of the bigger channels have got access to it, and some more sort of specific channels as well. I met a lovely lady called Blala, I think her channel is, who's basically, her channel's built around this game, much the way that I started with Planko. She's very much starting with this, and she has a full wiki and all sorts about it. So if you want some real in-depth stuff, head over there to check it out. But other than that, as you can see, we're getting started on hospital even number 1. I suppose it could be like a hotel if I do it nice enough, couldn't it? Hospital number 1, and for all intents and purposes, so far so in Theme Hospital. You can see we've placed down a GP, we've placed down a reception desk, and now we're waiting for patients to come on in. The graphic style is, I personally think, really cute. It's basically imagine Theme Hospital in 3D. So it has really chunky style, really solid style. And one thing I noticed about playing it is the whole game has a very sort of solid feel, real weight to it. And that comes through the graphic style, but also the gameplay as well. This did not feel like an early access title when I played it. It's very, very polished. I didn't see a single bug, I don't think. The only thing I think they could slightly tweak, which was something they did mention they were working on, was the UI in general, and just the sort of user experience was a little funky in a few places. A few times I was stuck looking around for something, or also later on when we buy an area of land, that was quite tricky to kind of figure out as well. But yeah, to start off with, I loved how the game looks, love how it plays. Some nice additions on the original. I mean, it's been, God, it was 20 years since the original game, so you'd expect some advancements in technology. One of the things is the items you can place down, you can place them off the grid. So I'm using the grid here, but later on, I think Shift or something like that moves items away from the grid, which is great, especially for the decorations items, so the plant pots and all that sort of stuff. Move them off the grid gives you a real good amount of variation there. And also just the amount of decoration stuff as well. This is something I spoke to them about in an interview, which you'll find on the channel as well. Will have come out at the same time. There's a lot more sort of decoration stuff, and you can just make the place look a lot nicer. And I think that's a definite shift we've had in games over the last sort of 10-15 years, that no, you're not necessarily just sort of like ticking boxes in games and just doing stuff so you can say the game's done it. You might just play the game because you enjoy playing it and enjoy making stuff. I mean, for us, the huge example of that is Planet Coaster, but things like Minecraft and stuff, there isn't really an end goal other than being happy with what you've done in the game, and that's something I've noticed with this as well. You spend a lot of time making the place look nice, something we're definitely going to do. Now, there's going to be other channels, there are going to be other people who play this game who just want to kind of play through and get the patient cured. There we go, first patient cured. There are going to be people who play through this and sort of play it more of a management sim. We are definitely going to be down the let's make this look as nice as possible, as well as play it as nice as possible. And just look at all that stuff there on the left. There's so much. I think I'd go through and show you a little bit more of it later on, because obviously you unlock it as you go. Talking about unlocking it as you go, there are multiple different currencies. So there's the regular money, the dollar sign basically. That's your regular currency. You get money for treating people, you get money for diagnosing people, you spend that money on new stuff. It's as simple as. But then just underneath that you'll see a K with a number next to it, and I'm pretty sure I think they're called Q-bucks or something. I think it's meant to be like kudos. I'm not too sure, and you get those for various different challenges and stuff as well. There are quests in the game, so to speak. I mean, obviously we're working through a bit of a tutorial here, but eventually you'll get a doctor come up and say, listen, I'd really like to do a bit of research on something, can I go away and do that? And or janitor will come up and say, listen, we're really short on plants here, can we get some more, things like that, and they all in turn give you this currency that in turn is then used to buy stuff for the hospital, mostly from the looks of things decoration wise. So that's something we're going to be working towards as well. One thing I was a little disappointed, I mean, it's not crazy, but the one thing I was a little bit disappointed, there's no sandbox mode, unfortunately, so we are going to be working through the main quest. Maybe in the future I'd like to see a sandbox mode, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do here to make the place look nice. Just see the reception desk there at the moment, that's just like a standalone thing that props down, but later on you actually access this reception building, which works like an island, so you can place it down. It places, rather than walls, you draw like a desk basically, so you've got like an island desk all the way around that you can then add reception desks into, and you can add fax machines and cupboards and plants, and even down to like little charity shakers, where you put your change in, and leaflet holders, and oh god, there's so much little bits of crap. I can't wait to dive in and really play around with them. Okay, so we're jumping a little bit further into the footage I've got here then. So our hospital's fully up and running now. We've got some diagnosis, we've got a psychiatry area where we can cure people, and then here these are the notices that you get through, much like the fax machine works in the original game. So here we go, suggesting what to do with patients who you can't cure yet, and here you get a little look at the ability to build a new room, which is going to be a ward. Now, one of the nice things in this version of the game, in the new version, is that you don't have to build square rooms. You can build all different shapes. So here you can see we're filling that space as best as we can. Really makes it more useful, which is good. You notice as well that I was put off there a little bit by the guy who was talking in the background. There's a whole sort of radio station built in, which is really good, and they did say, the developers said that this is going to be a county-wide station. It's not a hospital radio station, so you'll hear news about events around the county. This is 2 Point County. This is kind of like the world they're building, and I think in the future what they would like to do, although they're being a little bit coy about it, I think eventually they would like all of their games to happen in this 2 Point County, so that you can have sort of characters cross over. They meant obviously VIPs turn up here, much like the original theme hospital. So, they could maybe tie those VIPs into other games and stuff. I think it'd be really good. Now here, you're getting a little view here of just how much stuff you can actually place in a room. So, you've got your beds, you've got your desk, and you've got a screen for people to go and get changed. Then you also have these, what they call nurse lockers, but these look very much like the sort of lockers that you get next to a bed. You'll see me there trying to pop it off the grid, but these wouldn't really be off the grids, would they? These would be next to the beds. But so we put one of those by each bed as well. And now all of these have different stats and do different things to the rooms. So they can increase the stats of the room, make it happier to be in, and you'll see at the top there's a prestige number going up. Prestige means that the staff working in there are happier to work in there, and there you go, a little bit of rotation just because we can. Oh, so happy we can do that. And also, I assume that the actual patients themselves are happier with higher prestige rooms too, but for the most part it makes sure that staff are in a much happier way about it. So there we go, that's what the rooms look like, and then as I'm finishing off, I think I'm nearly done. I may well be chatting to somebody here, unfortunately. I stopped and chatted. You'll hear, I didn't notice this actually, you'll hear mumbling on the video. That's not a sound effect in the game. Turns out there was actually some sort of microphone on my computer. I don't know where it was, couldn't find it, but that's us in the background. You can hear us, it'll be quiet, but that mumbling is not a sound effect of the game. It's us chatting in Sega HQ. So we're going to place a bin down. You can see there that there's feet on the floor to show you sort of where people have to access it. I think with things like that, with the bin there, as long as some of them are active, then it's okay. There we go. Our ward is up and running. You get that gorgeous animation of it popping up. And there we go. Multiple beds deal with more than one patient. Yeah. So all, again, very sort of standard stuff. The game really sort of opens up into its own and moves away from the sort of Theme Hospital clone or Theme Hospital 2 a little bit later on in the simulation. So each of these hospitals are no longer sort of individual little islands. They're no longer little individual levels that you finish and move on. Every single when you finish a hospital, you get 3 stars on a hospital, or 1 star, I think. It's a 3-star system. You get 1 star on a hospital, you're able to move on to the next one. If you want to, you can stay, get your hospital really up and running well, get some real good them kudo points or whatever they're called, or you can move on to the next hospital. But on the next hospital, if you research something, you can go back to the first one and add it in. All right, so these are all living and breathing in their own, and you're building a hospital empire. You're building a health organization as opposed to just each individual hospital. Here, I'm placing down a deluxe. Oh, looks. Okay, so this is the lightheadedness, which is probably the first condition they showed, which is the guys come in with big light bulbs on their heads. It looks great. To fix them, you need to deluxe them, which I think is such a great name. This game is full of little puns and dad jokes and British humour. It's awesome. I'm going to have so much fun reading all the little bits of information. Every description, it's full of humour. It's full of gags. The characters have really great names. There's just so much to see, it really is. I'm trying to... It was really difficult because I knew I was only going to get about an hour or so with the game, and I kind of wanted to see as much as possible, but not rush as well, So there was actually 4 levels you could play on the day. I only see the first 2, purely because I didn't want to just rattle through it, I wanted to actually sort of really figure stuff out. So there's the doctors going down. Obviously, all the doctors and nurses have various stats, and also more so, not just sort of like how quick they work and stuff. They actually know certain things as well. So in the original game, you had things like psychiatrists and stuff like that. Now all of the characters have that, down to the janitors having the ability to vacuum up ghosts using a little dust devil vacuum cleaner, and they can teach that ability through research later on. So here you can see one of our lightheadedness sufferers coming into the deluxe, and I thought I'd just show you a little close-up of this before we move on to the second hospital. Again, really great animation. Look at his little knees going and everything. Heads off, and then that's neat. We get a little scan of his head. In it comes, and it gets screwed on. There we go. It's got a hat on and everything. So here's our letter then, saying we've got our 1-star hospital. And with that, we can now move on to island. I don't know, I keep saying island. I've got Jurassic World Evolution in my head, haven't we? And then we can move on to hospital number 2. Okay, so here you can see the bit of the map. So there was the first hospital we worked on. You can see they move up right into different areas and eventually move into like desert areas and all that. And, temperature is going to be an issue and things like that. There's even a fairground in the middle there, look. But we're going to click on on hospital number 2, my word, in a second. So, the different things there. You got 1, 2, 3. But at any point, you can go back with the stuff you've learned, like I say, and try the new one. So here we're going to Lower Bullocks. I beg your pardon. And in Lower Bullocks, basically, it's the same again, rinse and repeat. So we're going to do a second hospital. I think the thing is this time is that we're not going to be able to hire any psychiatrists. So, but we're given one. Keep your eyes. Oh no, we can hire psychiatrists, but they give us our psychiatrists to start off with. That's it. So there's the key thing here. We've got psychiatrists to start off with, and there's that guy going on the desk as well. So you see, pretty decent space. This one you're actually allowed to buy space as well, much like you could in the original one. So first of all, we're going to build a GP office, I guess, because that's probably one of the most important things. Oh no, we're building a psychiatrist. Sorry, we have a psychiatrist already. Have I just not noticed that there's a psychiatrist desk already in there? Yeah, I guess we haven't. Anyway, you get to see the cool stuff. You get to put down for psychiatry. You get to see all the stuff off the grid as well. Really kind of opens the game up, that does. I'm so happy about that as a feature. Even down to like putting the filing cabinets a bit closer to each other than you probably should be able to. And then there you can see we have one poster at the moment, which is our light-headed poster. I'm not 100% sure how they unlock, but you can see there, look, lamp, diagnostic chair, treatment bookcases. And like I said before, all of these actually tie into the buildings as well. So the bookcases have books in them that the staff will go and read when they need to. Radiators obviously give out heat. Aircon units will take away heat. And then certificates and things like that will up the prestige in general. Plants make the place look pretty. But for instance, rose bushes make the place look really pretty because beautiful roses. But they take much water, they take much care from the janitors. You can put a cactus there. It's not quite as pretty, but it needs a lot less maintenance. So all of this sort of display stuff and this design stuff really focuses right back into the simulation as well, which is going to be something really interesting to see how it plays out. But look at all this. Look at anatomy model, loads of different patient pictures and eye tests and all sorts. Unfortunately, we're playing a very early level here, so we don't have that much of it open. So it's pretty much back to the original theme hospital: a plant, a radiator, a fire extinguisher. We're done. And that was one of the nice things about this, is that that's always what we used to do in theme hospital: plant, radiator, fire extinguisher, done. And it's a GP's office there. Sorry, I thought that was a psychiatrist, but no, we're okay. We've got a GP and a psych building there as well. Okay, last thing I wanted to show you then was opening up some of the new area. So here we go. We've got plot 4. It's actually a building site at the moment, but there's various different spaces. Some of them are just little gardens. Some of them, I think one of them's actually a playground that we bulldoze. But this one's a building site, so all we're waiting here is to get to that 75,000, waiting for the money to tick up. But you can hear in the background the radio DJ. Sounds like they all have their own shows. Oh, here we go. We realised that one of them's a bit cheaper, so we buy that one instead. So there we go. Good. So the nice thing here, it doesn't just pop up. You have to wait. It has to do the building. So here, look, we've got 14 days until it's actually able to be built on. Their days go pretty quick in the game, but still, it's nice that we have to kind of wait. Yeah, it was like a park at one point. I feel awful. Didn't really understand what I was doing, so I feel quite bad about taking the kiddies park and turning it into a ward. But you know what? It needs to happen. It needs to happen. And there we go, pops up as a usable ward. And then we can go in there and start putting down some of our later level buildings. Okay, so we're going to put down another Lux Clinic, and then I think we do Pan's Lab, which is the other one, which is the removal of the pan on their head. I forget what that one's called now, but I just love the fact that we can make funky looking rooms. Look, but while the room's being built, have a look down there on the right. You'll see all the different quests that we've currently got going, all the different missions we have. So the first one there's staff request. That was generally, remember, a staff came up to me and said, listen, we've got too many ghosts. We need to capture ghosts. So you've got to do 3 ghosts captured there in a time limit. So we haven't got any at the moment, unfortunately, so we can't really do that. Then we've got the one that just left there was a health visitor inspecting, so he just had a little look around and check the place out. And then to get to the 1-star hospital there, look, we need to get the hospital level to 6. So that's just various things that get that level up. The buildings available, the money we've got, the people that are getting cured and things like that. And then we have to own 2 buildings, which we've just done. We opened that second one. And then cure 3 patients in Pan's Lab. So there we go. We're going to try and build a Pan's Lab over there as well. So that's just like a general like end of the level kind of thing. But obviously, really, it's only the start of the level. There's still lots more you can play. And then finally, just one popped up there. Look, we need to cure people in our ward. So there we go. That was the inspection report. I'm clicking through a little bit here because I'm coming to the end of my time with the game, and I really didn't want to. I wanted to try and see as much as I could, so I'm skipping a little. But there's really a level of depth in this game that really surprised me. It really is. In every way we wanted it to be. This is Theme Hospital 2, and I'm so glad to say that it's coming out very, very soon, about 6 weeks away. So, and also thank you so much to both 2 Point Studios and Sega for inviting me down to play. It was so crazy to be there. I still consider myself to be a pretty small YouTuber, and I was sitting in a room with people like Biffa and Sips, and yeah, it was pretty crazy stuff. But thank you so much to them for letting me have a play. I hope you've enjoyed taking a look at it with me. We're going to be diving into this hard on the channel when it comes out in a few weeks, so get ready for it, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, you can give us a like. It really does help out the channel. And if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe. Any thoughts, queries, or suggestions, you can pop those down in the comments. If you fancy chatting, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Jonty Sparrow. If you'd like to join in with the Geekism community, you can do so over on our Geekism Discord server. You will find the link for that in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.